थोड़ा सोया, फिर डॉक्टर के पास उठा और थोड़ा डॉक्टर के पास पहुंचे ना, पैर यूं थोड़ा हुआ था तब तक। तो मतलब एकदम कॉन्शियस नहीं कह सकते कि पूरा बेहोश हो गया था, कुछ होश नहीं था, ऐसे थोड़ा यूं उठा तो फिर उठ रहा था, फिर यूं गेंद चढ़ रहा था उसको, फिर उठा तो उठ रहा था। और एग्जैक्ट मैं बोलूँ ना तो उसको 15 सेकंड तक वो ये मूवमेंट हुआ।
आँख के बारे में बताइए।
आँख के बारे में तो क्या, कभी कभी तो मतलब ऐसे परफेक्ट दिखता है। हम इसको टॉर्च से एक्सरसाइज कराते हैं ना, उसको तो इतना अच्छे से फॉलो करता है ना। शेडो को मैं फॉलो कराती हूँ उसको, कहाँ भी शेडो जाएगा ना वो अच्छे से, दोनों अच्छे से करेगा। सिर्फ इसका एक आई का है ना, यहाँ से थोड़ा सा रह जाता है आईबॉल मूवमेंट होना, बाकी पूरा हो जाता है। एक आईबॉल है राइट आई में जिसमें, और जो राइट साइड है यहाँ तक घूम जाता है, थोड़ा सा इतना सा रह जाता है। मैंने नहीं कहा था ये गर्दन बहुत यूं करता है, अभी तो मतलब 80% जितना इम्प्रूव है उसमें, बहुत कम करता है, बहुत कम करता है। गुस्सा तो इसका अभी 50% हुआ है, पर गुस्सा तो है लेकिन बहुत कम कर दिया, काफी हद तक तो कम कर दिया। और पहले जैसे मैंने कहा था कि ये बहुत यूं करके ही चलने की करता है, अब या तो बेड पे कोई करेगा यूं, बाकी कभी कभी करता है, ज्यादातर तो वो करता ही नहीं।
पूरा सर पीछे ले जाता था ना,
पूरा सर पहले बहुत ले जाता था अभी। और पहले मैंने आपको ये भी कहा था कि ये ऐसे करता रहता है, अभी तो ये ऐसे भी नहीं करता है, बहुत कम करता है।
ना बोलते तो ही करता है,
हम बोलते हैं ना तो ना करे,
नारे ना कर दे।
इसको वो सेंस थोड़ा सेंसरी का कम था।
हाँ।
अब इसको तुरंत क्यों करोगे ना, इसको तुरंत पता चल जाएगा।
डॉक्टर उसको इतना काटता नहीं है, इसको पता ही नहीं चल रहा अभी, देखो
तुरंत रिएक्ट करता है, तुरंत रिएक्ट करेगा। और पता चल गया ना, पहले से ही यूं एक्सप्रेशन हो जाएगी, मुझे काट रहा है, उसको अभी फील हो रहा है, हर चीज फील हो रही है।
नहीं, दैट इज गुड थिंग,
पहले उसको स्किन पे इतना नहीं फील होता था।
सेंसरी में इम्प्रूव।
हाँ, सेंसरी में इम्प्रूवमेंट आ गया।
पूरी चीज को पकड़ के खड़ा हो जाएगा, खड़ा होने में देर नहीं करता, बहुत कम है, खड़ा रहता
था। वो एक्टिव था लेकिन कुछ कर नहीं पाता, स्ट्रेंथ नहीं था उसको, अब स्ट्रेंथ आ गया उसको।
नहीं आदत
करना तो पहले से सब चाह रहा था, वो पकड़ने की करता था लेकिन पकड़ नहीं पाता था ये, अब उसको स्ट्रेंथ आ गया है तो थोड़ा वो कर पा रहा है। जैसे ही उसको थोड़ा स्ट्रेंथ है तो क्रॉल किया, अब उसको स्ट्रेंथ आया तो वो यूं खड़ा रहने की कर लेता है कि खड़ा हो जाता है, फिर पीछे गिर जाता है। वो उसको सेंस नहीं है कि मैं पीछे गिरूंगा, मुझे लगेगा, ऐसे चलेगा, क्रॉल करते करते यूं हो जाएगा कि उसको ये मस्ती में यूं कहीं भी यूं करेगा सर को।
मुंह में बहुत उंगली डालता था वो भी है कि नहीं?
अभी कम, बहुत कम। अभी जैसे आज उसको थोड़ा यहाँ पे स्वेलिंग हो गया, थोड़ा दर्द है तो डाल रहा है, वरना नहीं।
बराबर। उसको आंख में थोड़ी रिकवरी दिख रही है आपको?
हाँ।
दिख रही है, रेबिस में रिकवरी दिख रही है? डर के जाग जाता था और नींद में से नहीं,
अभी इतना नहीं।
अच्छा, घड़ी घड़ी पानी पीता था थोड़ा थोड़ा, लेकिन फ्रीक्वेंट नहीं पीता।
अभी कम, अभी एक बार प्यास पी लेता है, एक बार, ज्यादा नहीं पीता अभी पानी।
बराबर। क्या वो पब्लिक में जाने से डरता था?
अब नहीं डरता। पहले कैसे था कि उसके ना थोड़े दिन फिजियोथेरेपी मिस हो जाती थी ना, एक्सरसाइज, तो वो बहुत पीछे चला जाता था, भूल जाएगा वो सब करना, तो फिर से बैठना सिखाना करना। अभी कैसा है, इसका 1 मंथ जितना गैप हुआ फिजियोथेरेपी में, ठीक नहीं था, तो अभी शुरू किया ना तो सब उसको आ ही रहा था, जहाँ पे छोड़ा था ना वहीं से सब शुरू करना पड़ा, मतलब पीछे नहीं गया। अब काफी इम्प्रूवमेंट आ गए हैं, काफी जो हम चाहते हैं ठीक है, लेकिन अभी भी वो खुद को बैलेंस नहीं इतना अच्छे से कर पा रहे हैं।
Sir, I guess again there is an interruption in the video if I'm correct.
मतलब पीछे नहीं गए। अब काफी इम्प्रूवमेंट आ गए हैं, काफी जो हम चाहते हैं ठीक है, लेकिन अभी भी वो खुद को बैलेंस नहीं इतना अच्छे से कर पा रहे हैं। क्रॉलिंग में फुल आ गया है उसको, क्रॉल करते करते बैठ जाएगा, क्रॉल करते करते खड़ा रह जाएगा, लेकिन फिर उसके बाद पीछे गिर जाएगा। अभी उसको सब समझ पड़ती है कि अभी मेरे पापा जा रहे हैं तो उसको रोना आएगा, अभी कि अभी दुकान जा रहे थे हील ट्राई, और सोशल रिस्पॉन्स इतना इम्प्रूव हो गया इसका कि अभी कोई भी एंटर होगा ना नया हील, स्माइल, खुश होगा, उसको ऐसे देख के खुश हो जाएगा, उनको वेलकम करेगा। इसको बहुत बच्चों को देख के तो इतना खुश हो जाता है, इसको बच्चों के साथ मजा आएगी, नए लोगों के साथ अच्छी तरह से हंसेगा, मतलब सोशल रिस्पॉन्स में भी बहुत अच्छा है। फिर इम्प्रूवमेंट तो काफी चीजों में आ गया है, वरना पहले तो वो बैठता था तो मैं डॉक्टर नहीं कहती पीछे पिलो रखती हूँ उसको, अभी तो उसके पीछे कुछ रखना ही, एक जगह बैठता ही नहीं है, उधर जाएगा वो चीज खोलेगा पकड़ेगा, एक्टिविटी तो ये कुछ ना कुछ करता ही रहता है।
How's Vinith? This past 2 months?
अभी तो वो फीवर वाली दवाई से तो मतलब इतना अच्छा हुआ ना इस बार, तो उसको मतलब मैं एवरी ईयर वो फीवर वाली दवाई डाल देती हूँ, कोई प्रॉब्लम नहीं, कुछ भी नहीं, वही स्ट्रेंथ वही सब। फीवर में भी मतलब फीवर उतर जाए उसके बाद एक्सरसाइज भी कर रहा था, सब कर रहा था, खेल रहा था।
No backwardness of his progress. Good. आपने कमल भाई को दिखाया फिर?
कमल भी इसी तरह रेगुलर टच में,
तो वो माने इनके केस के बारे में उनको तो मालूम होगा ना।
हाँ।
तो वो क्या कहते हैं? इम्प्रूवमेंट
वो तो कहते हैं कि दिस इज अ मिरेकल, नॉट गुड, वेरी हाइपर एक्टिव,
तो अच्छा है ना।
डजंट वांट टू स्टैंड फॉर अ व्हाइल, एक जगह पे खड़े नहीं रहना है। नो एक्टिव मतलब इतना है, वो हाइपर एक्टिव तो मतलब बैलेंस ही नहीं कर रहा है, गिर रहा है तो फिर मेरी बात लग गई।
So that is good. It is actually good to have good energy than to have low energy.
वो डॉक्टर अमोला के पास जाओ, वहाँ मैं गई, वहाँ उसने असेसमेंट किया, उन्होंने मुझे एक टैबलेट लिख के दिया, क्योंकि इसका हाइपर बिहेवियर देख के उन्होंने कहा कि ऐसे सारी देर ही इज ऑन हिज फीट, सारी देर चल रहा है, 1 मिनट रुक नहीं रहा है, कुछ सुन नहीं रहा है, कुछ कर नहीं रहा है, तो दैट इज नॉट गुड। उन्होंने इसकी रिपोर्ट करवाई, एक CPK करके रिपोर्ट करवाई, बोले मसल्स की रिपोर्ट कराते, ठीक है, वो मैंने इसकी करवाई।
वो क्या आया उसको?
वो तो पॉजिटिव आया कि मसल्स में कुछ नहीं है।
तो क्या बात है, वही तो चाहिए मुझे।
मसल्स एकदम नॉर्मल,
मसल्स एकदम नॉर्मल
लाइक ए नॉर्मल बॉय।
मैं वो रिपोर्ट आपको बाद में नहीं तो कुरियर करती हूँ।
अरे यार बढ़िया, तो फिर
वो
तो अभी
रिपोर्ट
आपके
करवाई।
बेटे को तो इट्स
वो जैसे हमने सुना तो उन्होंने उसके बाद वो डॉक्टर अमोला ने कहा कि इसको फुकुयामा के सिम्टम्स हैं ही नहीं, और मुझे लगता है ऑटिज्म है, ठीक है, अब ऑटिज्म है। जब स्टार्टिंग में हम आए थे तो विनीत का सिटिंग भी नहीं था, ये बैक, ये जो हेड फॉरवर्ड कर रहा था, बैक करता था, वो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था, हेड होल्डिंग नहीं था, और गुस्सा करेगा और जिद करेगा, सिर पछाड़ देता था जमीन पे, और पूरे दिन रो करता रहता था, हाइपर एक्टिव था, हद से ज्यादा हाइपर था, एक जगह 1 सेकंड भी नहीं बैठता था। फिर उसको बहुत कफ का प्रॉब्लम था, फीवर हो जाता था जल्दी, एकदम कफ होए और फीवर हो जावे। फिर उसको बहुत कन्वर्जेंस का भी बहुत प्रॉब्लम था, फीवर के साथ बहुत प्रॉब्लम हो रहा था, और फीवर तो यानी गर्मी में भी कफ भर जाए, सर्दी में, हर सीजन में कफ भरता ही रहता था उसको, वो बहुत बड़ी प्रॉब्लम थी, क्योंकि कफ भरता था और उसकी हालत खराब, बुखार, टेम्परेचर शुरू हो जाता था। फिर हम कुछ भी बोले कुछ नहीं सुनता था, अपनी ही दुनिया में रहता था, किसी को रिएक्ट नहीं, किसी के सामने नहीं देखना, किसी की आवाज सुन के रिएक्ट नहीं करना, और कुछ भी कहीं भी नए माहौल में गया, म्यूजिक है कुछ है, डर जाता था एकदम से, सडन साउंड हुआ तो डर जाएगा, कोई भी कहीं ले जाओ, कोई भी जगह पे ले जाओ, एडजस्ट नहीं हो पाता था, सेट नहीं हो पाता था। अपने ही घर पे रात को सोता नहीं था, पूरी रात जगता रहता था। फिर उसको
फुकुयामा ना, फुकुयामा
थोड़ा भी कुछ फीवर आया कि कुछ हुआ तो एकदम ढीला हो जाएगा, गिरता रहेगा, पड़ा रहेगा, खाएगा नहीं, पिएगा नहीं, काफी सारी ये सब प्रॉब्लम्स थी। और अब जो है, अब इसमें से कोई भी प्रॉब्लम नहीं, कोई भी नहीं, फीवर नो चांस एट ऑल, कफ की सब दवाइयाँ बंद हो गई है, कोई दवाई नहीं देती मैं इसको।
कन्वर्जेंस
भी नहीं है।
How is his development?
गुस्सा बहुत कम हो गया है, बहुत कम. जिद करता है नहीं, उसकी चीज उसको चाहिए तो, बाकी वो बिल्कुल सब चीज समझता है. कोई आता है तुरंत उसको देख के स्माइल करता है. सोशल रिस्पॉन्स आ गया है, बहुत अच्छा.
Very good. In
कुछ
fact,
भी
very, very
बोलूंगी, कुछ भी बोलूंगी सुनेगा, समझेगा. ठीक है, बच्चे हैं, थोड़ा तो नॉटी रहेगा, जिद करेगा, दैट इज नॉर्मल. नॉर्मल है सब, वो सब करता है, वो नॉर्मल है, वो करना है उसको. बाकी बिल्कुल भी ज्यादा यूं हद से ज्यादा यूं नहीं करता. पूरी रात जागना नहीं, अभी शांति से सो जाता है. परेशान रहता था पूरी रात, इधर से उधर घूम रहा है, उधर से उधर सीढ़ियां चढ़ता जाता था, ऊपर नीचे हो रहा है. शांति से बैठ के खेलता है. टीवी के पीछे हद से ज्यादा क्रेजी था, अब थोड़ा कम हुआ है. बिल्कुल तो गया नहीं है, टीवी चाहिए, पर पहले पागल की तरह वैसा नहीं है. कंट्रोल हुआ है, थोड़ा कंट्रोल हुआ है. अब विनित को मैं बिठा के यूं कुछ भी काम करना है, क्या करना है, मैं कर सकती हूँ. वो सहन बैठ जाता है. जिद में आएगा तो, गुस्से में आएगा तो करेगा, वरना वो नॉर्मल बैठा है तो बैठा है. खुश हो जाएगा, क्लैप करके रिएक्ट करके बता देगा, ये चाहिए, सब फिंगर पॉइंट करके बता देगा. नहीं चाहिए तो नहीं भी. विनित नहीं चाहिए तो नहीं भी बता, नहीं चाहिए.
मतलब there is a genuine improvement. And what about his disorder, Fukuyama?
फुकुयामा तो अभी हम भूल गए.
हाँ?
फुकुयामा तो हम भूल गए, हम उसको दिमाग में ही नहीं लेते हैं कि फुकुयामा है ऐसा करके. भी डेवलपमेंट भी उसका अच्छा है. अभी जैसे वो विदाउट सपोर्ट भी 10 स्टेप्स तो ले ही लेता है, वॉकिंग कर ही लेता है. और कभी कभी वो घिर जाता है, बाकी तो वो खुद से खड़ा रहता है, तो बैठ भी जाता है खुद से. कभी कभी ऐसा रहता ही है कि वो गिर रहा है, ये कर रहा है, ऐसे. तो बच्चे कभी हो जाते हैं वीक. अभी इतनी तो स्ट्रेंथ नहीं आई है ना, अभी तो थोड़ा तो है ना उसमें, उसका इफेक्ट मसल्स वीक का. बाकी तो वो जनरली वो
इसमें आई मसल ब्रेन फुकुयामा था ना.
हाँ, मसल आई
मतलब आई तो विजुअली इट इज इम्प्रूव. ओरिएंटेशन भी वाइज भी अभी सुन रहा है सब कुछ. मतलब ही टेकिंग इंटरेस्ट नाउ. और आई मसल ब्रेन का तो जेन्युइन डेवलपमेंट है, देयर इज नो डाउट. मेरे हिसाब से एकदम बढ़िया है.
Sir, can we have the slides,
11
please?
मंथ तक तो सब कुछ नॉर्मल था, कुछ भी इसको नहीं था. बस थोड़ा ऐसे, मतलब क्या था, ये लोगों को देख.
Thank you, sir. So, in this situation, the first remedy which was given to this child, he had typical symptoms of fear of dark, conversion with consciousness, face grimaces. Also, there is a rubric, if I'm correct, strabismus with brain disease. It's having single remedy, stramonium. Stramonium was the remedy which was prescribed, and it produced fantastic effect in this child. And as a result, he was very much improved. And then he started having acutes. A lot of acutes were there. So it was been treated with pulsatilla. So this was the just a second. This was the reparation. It was stramonium. Then it was continuous to a placebo. Then child started having fever. Following fever, for the fever, the remedy prescribed was pulsatilla. And following pulsatilla, the case was completely cured. I'm still in connection with the whole family, and the child is doing fantastically better with homeopathy. So this is, sir, am I audible? What's the problem? Sir, am I audible?
Go ahead. Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, sir. I thought that there is
No.
an interruption in the internet. Okay.
No
So
problem. Go ahead.
so yeah. So in connection to this paragraph, the what you call the disease Fukuyama. Fukuyama was nowhere at the time of Hahnemann. Fukuyama is it's very strange. It's a Japanese disorder happened to a Gujarati child, an Indian child, and it's something which was absolutely you know abnormal to see. But here 145th aphorism from Dr. Samuel Hahnemann confirms that our medicine can certainly help and even cure almost all the diseases available or going to develop in the human race in the future, because we don't treat disease, we treat patient having a disease. We don't treat diagnosis, we treat symptoms. So ultimately in this paragraph ultimately helped me out to cure this, but to cure this seemingly incurable case. That's what is the scenario with corona epidemic. Homeopathy is booming, especially in India for corona, and it has produced wonderful effect. So medicine will be, one in continuation to 145th aphorism, medicine will be able to affect all the diseases. It's like many times, the allopathic doctor tells that I can't help you. It's not my subject now, which will never be the words of a true homeopath. He will always be help to the people. To what percentage is depend upon the case, but it will definitely be able to help the suffering soul. And that's why Hahnemann has used a word, the sentence, it is next to impossible to draw more than one straight line between the two given points. This is the beautiful, meaning what Hahnemann is conveys from disease to cure, from pain to peace. The only homeopathy is the best way to cure or to help such type of people. Sir, my first case is over. I request
You
you
want to go through the second one, the
yes,
pyrexia? We'll go through
yes,
it quickly.
yeah. We'll go
Yes.
through it quickly. Sir, get slides moved on
Yes.
30. Yeah. Now I'll be going little fast to this case because we have a very limited time. This is a child of this is a down क्या दिखा रहा हूँ? This is a child of 4.5 year of age who the child came to me with recurrent, it's like cough and cold, okay, with some stammering of speech. But the worst problem, what this child was actually suffering with the fever. The fever used to come between 11th and 15th every month, irrespective of whatever you do. The child is suffering from 10 months. The fever used to be very intense. It used to be somewhere around 104 degree. Child is completely normal on the till the 9th of the month and becomes normal after the 16th of the month. But the 11th to 15th period, the date of the 11th of 15th every month is very dangerous. And the child usually used to develop fever in the night. In the daytime, child used to be quite normal, quite playful. It was completely normal. But the problem starts as soon as the night comes, and the fever is very intense, very intense. So the diagnosis was very difficult for the pediatrician to make, and eventually turned out to be pyrexia of unknown origin. And this is a very rare type of diagnosis where you cannot find the cause of the fever. Usually it is labeled as pyrexia of unknown origin. Into this, the symptoms were, along with the high grade fever between 11 to 15, some symptoms what were visible: whitish discoloration on the face, constipation. Child used to be very stubborn, had a lot of tantrums as well, desire to travel. No, it was quite evident. Child loves water. She, it's more or less, it's something which is very more or less, I would say 80% of information belong to quite a common child usually have. But the strong symptoms were between 11 to 15 the fever. And, very curious child, sympathetic child. I cannot slide down. I don't know why. I cannot do it. Okay. Appetite was the child was not, she was not able to tolerate the hunger. Thirst was quite very much. In fact, she was a hot child. Desire banana, ice cream, and milk. And no perspiration during sleep, teeth rattling during sleep. So what actually made me, is like I was very much confused between tuberculinum and the other medicines. I am going little fast because this case can be taken out for 30 minutes. But the child, when I saw the child, it was just 2 days prior to fever, the episode of the fever. And I was very clear that I am entering into the aggravation phase of the fever. What usually it is been done, in homeopathy practice, what I do, I'll share it with you. I put the nosological classification of the disease into Hahnemann classification of the disease. So doing this, do's and don'ts of case taking, do's and don'ts of remedy reactions become very much clear. So this case was quite clear to me of belong to intermittent disease. And into intermittent disease, the case belongs to intermittent fever. So straight away, I approached Organon, and Organon became actually the ray of hope for me. And in the 242nd paragraph, Hahnemann tells very clearly that we have now to do with a psoric intermittent fever only, and this will generally be subdued by a minute and rarely repeated dose of hypersulfur or sulfur. Now, in this situation, if you see the totality, sulfur was on the first. So sulfur was there in my mind, but Organon confirmed my prescription. And with support of Organon, I prescribed sulfur 201 dose. Then, to my surprise, sorry, I need to see the first follow-up. Yeah. First follow-up, 16th. So I prescribed sulfur 2 days prior to the episode of high-grade fever. Sulfur cut it off the problem immediately, and then after it was very, very low-grade fever. So for me, it was a magic which worked. Second follow-up, child was very much better, no complaint. Cough was there little bit here and there, but it's quite okay, quite manageable. Third was the same. Here, child started producing more, kind of detox. What you say, perspiration, respiration, urination, and defecation. In this situation, again, a placebo. Fourth follow-up, placebo. Fifth follow-up also was placebo. Now, you see, this is now very important that I am entering, just a second. Yeah. So with sulfur 200, one dose, I was very much clear that now as there was no fever, since the start of medication, it's a clear sign that the medicine has acted and almost has cleared the problem. So we decided to observe for 2 months. So now here, without medicine, 4th of November, no problem. Child was quite okay. In spite of 10 to 15th every month, passed peacefully, no fever at all. Then what I am very documented in my practice, so I always confirm with the expert opinion what the status of the patient after homeopathic medicine. So I advise the patient to consult the same pediatrician, and the same pediatrician told that the child does not suffer from pyrexia of unknown origin anymore. And in this situation, it was a great joy for me, because here, homeopathy became hope for the hopeless child. And here I'm going little fast. I had to make a mistake in spite of being aware with the Organon, where it's very difficult to give the medicine in the ascending phase of the fever. But I had no other choice. And luckily, sulfur worked very well and sorted out the problem in one go itself, I would say. And
Yes.
Yes, sir. And the last is, sorry.
Go on, doctor, please.
Yeah. So with sulfur, 201 dose, supporting Organon, which is always a back of, always in my head. the organon and the lesser writings, the chronic disease. Everything is always in my head in any case I see. So in this situation, it came very clearly that it is actually a case of 242-second aphorism working in this child eventually solve the problem. So in this way, homeopathy became a hope for hopeless and a help for helpless for the child. This child underwent, including bone marrow biopsy, in all the problems, but the child was not diagnosed with this problem, and he suffered a lot. With homeopathy, sulfur 201 dose, magic. That's why I always tell to my students, I always tell to to whomever I meet that I'm proud to be a homeopath and I'm a proud child of Samuel Hahnemann, because when you go to the roots, you always have the best of fruits. My practice is 98% based on teachings of Dr. Samuel Hahnemann and Dr. J.T. Kent. Sir, can we have the third case? Can I go within a few minutes, if you permit?
1 minute.
Yes, sir. Or if the next speaker is ready, then we can.
Is this the one?
Yes, it's the appendicitis. It's the case of acute appendicitis. Can we have the presentation, sir?
Which one?
This is the it's the Word file. It was there.
Okay. 1 second.
Yeah. This is a case of acute appendicitis. We have treated many cases of acute appendicitis in the hospital with the indoor facilities we have. But the beauty of this case is it's a clear remedy, and into that, from the diagnosis of acute appendicitis till the patient got cured, we had a total nine sonographies being done, and in the all 9 sonographies, the remedy was able to produce a fantastic effect, and there was a gradual decrease in the size of inflamed appendix. So that's why I wanted to present this case purposefully. It's like homeopathy is evidence-based medicine. It's something which is absolutely grounded in black and white, but it is up to us to show to the world how much documented and how much authentic we are. I tell you about this case. It's a case of a male, who was studying in a college, and he suddenly had a pain in abdomen. Yes. So the case had, the patient started having severe pain in the abdomen after, having a breakfast, and it was so bad that he was being taken to the surgeon. Surgeon confirmed that most probably he's a case of, surgeon doubted that most probably he's a case of acute appendicitis. So the patient underwent sonography, and it turned out to be acute appendicitis. Surgeon advised to go for surgery is the only cure, but the patient was not economically powerful, as well as his family is staying in far away from where he was studying at that time. So he decided not to get it surgery, not to have it operated. He decided to go back to home. Fortunately, he saw the board of my hospital. The title is Homeopathy, Hope for Hopeless and Help for Helpless. It's a logo of the hospital. So he decided, let me try with this, and I took his case, and it turned out to be a very beautiful case of a remedy, colocin. And with colocin, the child became, the patient became completely normal. That I will show you before and after reports once we finish the case quickly. This is the patient. He has this acute colic in the abdomen. He used to be, very, very angry, and he used to be very, lot of anger was there. The reason behind of this pain in abdomen started was a situation he faced 2 days before to that. He found that his girlfriend is cheating on him, and his girlfriend was having a relationship without his knowledge, completely, being cheated to his own best friend. And that, when he came to know from the chat, he was completely into, he was completely worsted with this. But it was very difficult for him to express, because his friend also was very, very close to him, and the girl cheated. So somewhere he has lot of anger suppression, and as a result, he developed acute appendicitis, and this was the reparation, and as a result, remedy colocynth was prescribed. Sir, can we have the before and after presentation, please? Then we are done.
Yes. Is this the one? Is this the
Yeah,
first
this
one
is
or the second
no,
one?
it is the second one, sir.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
this
one.
is the first one. It's acute appendicitis, subhepatic position. It was very, very bad situation of the patient. Sir, can we have the after? Yes. Complete resolution of the previous lesion. No abnormality detected. This patient underwent 7 sonographies in total in the tenure of treatment, because at one point of time I told him that you please be under homeopathic care, so that I can see you remain in the hospital. I am here 24 hours for you, just you be under my observation. And at the same time, his family members were very much concerned that my son or my child should not be damaged in his health. It's a concern of every parent staying away from the child place of study. So in this situation, case completely one dose colocynth, it brought up fantastic effect. I had to repeat multiple times, but colocynth produced fantastic effect, and eventually it's a cure. So I really conclude my talk here. I apologize for the technical glitch, and it's not in anybody's hands. So I really want to thank Mr. Karthik ji, as well as I welcome
Genoveva.
Genoveva ji, Miss Genoveva. It's
No,
pleasure meeting you.
thank you,
Pleasure
Mr.
meeting.
Kartik. Amazing cases.
Yes, thank you, madam. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I conclude my talk. Thank you for inviting me, and I really had a wonderful time meeting you everyone, almost virtually. Thank you very much.
Me too. Thank you very
Thank,
much.
thank you.
Thank
All
you,
the
Dr.
very best, Mr.
Krutik.
President. Yes, sir.
The case was excellent. The first one, the Fukuyama case, was amazing, and in fact, the way you have captured the movement from your first time to like when he can actually look into the camera and see you. Earlier he was not able to meet the eye, which is amazing. So well done, and we hope you carry on more and more and improve your hospital to maybe 100-bedded hospital very soon.
Sure, sir. Thank you.
All right.
Thank you for the encouraging words. Thank you,
Okay, Dr.
everyone.
Kritik.
Yes, sir.
Thank you
very
very
much.
much. Yeah.
Thank you,
Thank you
sir.
very
Bye-bye.
Thank you very much. Yeah. All the best, Genoveva.
All
Thank
the
you.
best to you, Mr. Kartik,
Thank you.
also.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So next we have Get Well with Homeopathy founder Genoveva.
Thank you.
She's going to give us a very good insight onto really what make homeopathy very special to her. I'm just going to switch on her
How to
presentation.
switch off this here.
Wait, I'm doing that for you.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, sorry, not this one. There you go. Is this the one?
Just what? Just a second.
Is this the one? This is the 10th, June 10th, or this is the earlier one?
No, June 6th. Just a moment.
One, no. Maybe I've uploaded the wrong one. Hold on.
Yes, this is.
Which?
Yeah.
This is the one?
Yes.
Okay. We just got the dates wrong, I think. It's all right. All right. So there you
Hello,
go,
everyone.
Genoveva.
You know who am I, so I will skip this part, and I would like to talk a little bit about what homeopathy is. Actually, many homeopaths show very difficult cases with deep pathology, which itself shows the great potential of homeopathy. So I would like to talk about a little bit about the evolution in homeopathy before I start with the case. So first, the basis of homeopathy or our Bible is organon from our founder of homeopathy, Samuel Hahnemann. And with the organon, he established the law of similarity, the vital force, the notions of potentization, susceptibility, anamnesis, individualization, provings, and posology. And I will not talk more about this, or only will emphasize on this potentization, which actually makes homeopathy special and different than the other substances, common allopathic medicines or herbs or supplements or whatever we take. So homeopathy is different than this, and this potentization makes it special and different because it unlocks the hidden energetic forces in the substance and unlock them and increase them and make them capable to interact with our energetic field, which is also strong. And in this way, these homeopathy remedies can influence all our bodies, not only physical body, but our emotional, mental, causal, cosmic, etc. bodies. So this is alchemic process, and this is one of the miracles in homeopathy. Then we have a symptom approach. Symptom approach is based on combining different symptoms, physical symptoms, emotional, mental symptoms in totality, as Hahnemann says. And we search for a remedy in homeopathy which is similar to this totality of the entire picture. We use softwares also, as you see. Software, homeopathy is also the only medicine which use softwares. Software, this is a program with almost all remedies and all symptoms. We have more than 10,000 remedies, and it became very difficult to find the right remedy. When we find the right remedy, it was like, wow, we have done miracles. And different homeopaths couldn't reach to the same remedy because we had not a system how to reach to the particular remedy because they seem similar to each other. And then a system approach appeared, and this was very helpful, tremendously helpful. It was like revolution in homeopathy, Dr. Shankaran's approach. He separated all these 10 and more than already maybe 10,000 remedies, because along with the provings, with the vastness of homeopathy knowledge, it became more and more difficult to find the right remedy for the patient if we don't have a system, if we don't have a map. So he separated these 10,000 remedies into 3 kingdoms: mineral, animal, and plant kingdom. He also introduced the idea of miasms, which also Hahnemann did, but Hahnemann discovered 5 miasms. Dr. Shankaran discovered 5 more miasms. Then he also did extensive work on plants, using repertory, using provings, using cases. And based on this, he created a whole system for plant kingdom, which was very useful and made the prescriptions much successful. So he also worked extensively on mineral kingdom, on animal kingdom, and separated all these kingdoms to subgroups, which made homeopathy much more individual. Then we have Jan Scholten's system, who has worked also extensively on plants and minerals, which is another very helpful part of homeopathy. Then appeared Michael Yaker's evolutionary development of plants, which is, I would say, as useful as Dr. Shankaran and Scholten's work. It's very profound, very based on many sciences. Her work, Michael Yaker's work, is based on botanic, classic homeopathy, Kabbalah, knowledge about chakras, evolution of ego of Erik Erikson. He's a new age psychologist. She also used Carl Jung. And also Bible. The first day of creation, for example, corresponds with the topic of the first column in plants. The second day, we have 6 columns, and the 7th is empty. And the same is in the Bible. We have 6 days of creation, and to the 7th day, God relaxed. We have the same in her philosophy, and we have the similar in Dr. Shankaran's philosophy, because we have 7 levels when we approach and when we explore the deepest core, the individual part of the person, which creates the disease. And in this 7 levels philosophy of Dr. Shankaran, which is based on the science and on the spirituality as well, and 6 levels, and the 7th level is also empty. This is the empty canvas on which other 6 levels are superimposed. And Dr. Gandhi continued with this evolutionary development philosophy, and also Michelle Norland is working on this, and also Bob Blair. So this, Michelle Norland, Bob Blair, and Gandhi work also on element theory, which I have not mentioned here, but this is another kind of philosophy which is very profound, also very helpful, and gain speed, develop more and more. And when we combine this classic homeopathy with the symptom approach, with the system approach, in synergetic approach, then our prescription is much more accurate and much more profound, and producing much more percentage of success. So what we are, actually, we are not only this physical body, but according to, this is the tree of life, according to Kabbalah, we are, which is Kabbalah, this is world psychology, according to our spiritual guide. It's European, Ben Saduno, or Peter Donov. And Kabbalah, there are different kinds of Kabbalah. There are dogmatic, there are practical, there are letter Kabbalah, and secret Kabbalah. I'm talking about the deepest point of Kabbalah, this which is connected with the universe laws and which explains the human psyche and evolutionary development. So we have tree of life in Kabbalah, and actually this is synthesized model of the universe, and this is actually this actually represents the universe of the human being itself. And these are sephiroths. These are energetic junctions in each of us. You see how we can superimpose these sephiroths on our body. We will not talk about this, just like an idea. So in the aura of each person, there is its own tree of life in which the Sephiroth are located in a mirror image of those of the tree of Adam Kadmon, or the cosmic human being. Adam Kadmon is the cosmic human being, or of the cosmic tree of life. So how we are built, who we are as a people, how we are constructed, what are our parts. So according to spiritual psychology, or Jacob's ladder, we have 4 parts in each of us. There are 4 parts: physical world, psychological world, spiritual world, and divine world. And actually, the reason why I'm talking this, because actually homeopathy has worked extensively with many methods and very flexibly worked on this part on which all problems of human race arise from, mainly from here. And if we want to grow further spiritually and to reach to this divine force fully, and to express all our capacities and gain this peace that each of us strives to, we need first to clean this part of us. This Sephira, the name of this Sephira is Yesod, and our spiritual guide Mikhail Umram Ivanov said that if we have not cleaned this Sephirot or Sephira, we cannot go further in our development as a human being or a spiritual being. You can also see the flower on the tree of life implemented in the flower of life. And how homeopathy understands this psychic part of us. According to Sigmund Freud, this is the structure of our mind. We have ID, something like като нашето ЕГН, like ID, like this is me and this differs me from the other people. This is my fingerprint. Ego and super ego. And Carl Jung has also extensively worked on, of course, of the human psyche, of the reason for the disease, and he has worked on individualization. But this individualization in homeopathy is much more refined, 1,000 times more refined, because you will see why. So homeopathy use Carl Jung psychology models. It uses Freud ideas, he uses Erickson ideas, and he uses spiritual knowledge, he uses science, everything together. Alchemy, chemistry, physics, quantum chemistry, botanics, biology, you will see. So within us, so you saw here, I will back this picture. Oh, sorry. It's written that we have ego and we have self here. So before we cope with this ego and self, we cannot grow further. And we are trying through meditating on this Сефира Яцира, for example. И ние се опитваме да растем духовно, медитирайки върху Сефирата Яцира. Ясот. За да достигнем до Тиферет и Кетер. И това е един начин, но медитирайки, ние трябва да разберем нашата централна същност. We meditate on Yasod Sephira, for example, but in this meditating, we have to enter in our subconscious, which is unknown for us, which is unknown even from anyone, unless we don't use any techniques to enter in it. So further, after the development of psych model of Freud and Jung, and using this both plus Erik Erikson plus Dr. Shankaran's new ideas of human psych, Dr. Mahesh Gandhi, which is student of Dr. Shankaran and have been psychiatrist, develops this philosophy further. So we will see in short this philosophy. So he introduces the notion self, which is life center. Within us, at the core of our being, is the seat of all-embracing, non-finite and eternal cosmic consciousness. And this is positive self. And this is universal and impersonal. And from this self is born our personal I. Deep inside us, there is a longing to live according to true calling that comes not from the personality inside of us, but from a deeper part of ourself that is connected to the greater whole. So missing this part and going through spirituality and trying to improve our health only through this, it doesn't work, because we are not only spiritual person. Going to heal ourselves through using pills who are adapted to our physical body, some supplements, some herbs, some whatever. Doing only this also cannot, even doing diet, it cannot treat us fully, because we are not only physical body. But if we combine and work on all these bodies, then we can reach to this health we want to. And we can make our wishes come true through this. So this is the schema of Mahesh Gandhi's psychic model. We have self, from which personal I arises. And personal I contains different parts, many parts. Some of them are ego and superego. And then we have basal ego, or ID according to Freud, and or the other song according to Dr. Shankaran. So this is the structure of psyche shown in another way. We have a self from which personal I arises, and actually personal I, this is a more individualized part of us. And this personal I has many parts. One of them is basal self, or the other song, and the other part is conditional self. And but conditional self is divided of the ego and superego. So ego, this is a social self, acts according to the reality principle, seeks to please basal self. Ego serves to the external world, to the superego and to the basal self. Its task is to find a balance between its drives and reality while satisfying basal self and superego. The biggest problem here is that this, for example, aggressiveness, promiscuity arises, and etc., wrong habits arises from the basal self or from the other song. This is not accepted from the society. When the person strives to suppress it, these instincts, initial or animal nature inside of us, as the spiritual science says, the animal part of us, as much we suppress this animal part or not accepted part or bad part inside of us, as much we became ill. As much we give rise to this part, as much we are healthy. And our homeopathy remedies are directed mainly to this part of the basal ego, healing this part and superego. And you will see further. So superego is the moral part of the psyche. This is this part which conscious part which defines what is good and bad, black and white, wrong and right. Another part of superego is ego ideal, and this ego ideal represents the embodiment of the norms adopted by the individual's parents. All these beliefs, wrong beliefs we have from childhood, all these negative programs we have from childhood are here in the ego ideal part of our superego. So the strength of homeopathy is to heal this part. So homeopathy can heal all these negative programs inside of us. That's why, as well as the other song or ID. course. So the super ego is superimposed on the ego to restrict the demands coming from the basal self. It's based largely on programmed social restriction. For example, promiscuity is not accepted from the sociality, from the society. Nudity also, stealing also, nor killing, nor lying, etc. This is what the society said. This is not good. You should not have to show this. Homeopathy says this is good. You have to show this in order to be healthy. Because we have remedies who can treat this. You don't need to go to the psychiatry and to be chained like this. You know, these people with mental disorders were chained in psychiatry. Not necessary. We have solution in homeopathy about this. You know, killers are put in the jail. We don't need to do this. We have remedies from this kind of killers and aggressive people or drug addicted people also. All these things came from the childhood, and homeopathy has developed, as you see, four major philosophic systems to heal this basal self and superego. Am I clear? I cannot see your comments, but so even when there is a problem between wife and spouse, we go to the psychologist, to family psychologist or to marital psychologist to solve our problems, and this is good. And homeopathy use this also. But not everyone can be treated in one way. For example, some people can be treated only psychologically, but some people not. In my practice, this doesn't help enough. If I don't combine this with the sensation method, for example, with this deep case taking, it doesn't produce long-lasting results. And a little bit more about the personal eye. So I said this actually. Okay, I will continue after that. And this is case of a man I had in May 13 this year. His main complaint was dry nose and chronic dry cough. He said, I cannot sleep at night because of the cough. Sensation was in the cough was obstruction of throat and nose. And I asked him, tell me more about the cough. And he said, worries make it harder for me to pass secretions because my throat gets drier. And it makes me worry. So we see here that asking him about the physical complaint, some emotions appear. We know from the 7 levels I spoke last time, I will not repeat this now, that first level is pathology, second level is facts, sensation, concomitants, modalities, location. The third level emotion, fourth level delusion, fifth level sensation, seventh level energy, sixth level energy, gestures, movements, and seventh level is the empty canvas on which all other levels are superimposed. So the more deeper explanation of the physical complaint the patient gives us, the better for us, because the easier we can reach his core, his center from which all problems springs. So that's why I didn't ask him more about what improves you, what aggravates you, because in case like this, when the patient gives us emotion, means that he is prone to give us deeper aspect of himself. If he would say, I have pain here or there, I would ask him. But we go after the patient. Wherever he leads us, where at this direction we get also. We follow him. So I asked him, told me about worry. And he said, when I was alone, the brain thought constantly. And after some time, he told me, I feel adrenaline, which makes you very tense. The case is extraction. It's in short, there are much more subtlety here, but we don't have time now, so I will not emphasize on this as much as in my homeopathy voice online school. So, as a nature, I saw that I cannot extract more from this area of his life, so I went to another area, his nature or his character. He told me I'm sensitive to injustice, and we have a rubric, sensitive to injustice, but there are many remedies, so this is still not individual enough. So we have to understand what he is, what kind of injustice he is sensitive to. And I asked him, tell me more about it. And he says, I see it in politics. I also like to read criminology, and I'm very interested in human crimes. I try to find the motive and sequence of each act. Most crimes are the result of childhood, and it's very interesting to me that we are very sensitive and we get into the frame. Can you see how beautifully the first words of individualization and defining him from these three kingdoms, for example? Hi, Uta.
Hi, Genoveva.
Shows us slowly shows us the exact picture of the patient, the most individual. So very sensitive. This is the first hint to the plant kingdom, although we have sensitivity in all kingdoms. But let's see. When there is nothing like aggression, for example, from animal kingdom or structure from plant kingdom, this sensitivity is plant sensitive. When we have sensation, sensitivity and reaction, this is plant kingdom. And also, you will see in the end why. And the other very important phrase here is get into the frame. We not always need to ask patient directly what is sensation, but you see, I didn't ask him what is the sensation. I asked him, tell me more about it, and he told me I'm very sensitive and get into the frame. So means that he feels into the frame, a little bit confined. Very interesting. So I probed to the bottom this area. I saw that I couldn't find more, so I went to another area, hobby. He likes music. What is the sensation during you listening to music? He said, calm down, as if I fly. What is the sensation of flying? You don't feel anything. And this is very interesting. And if we stop here, for example, I don't feel anything. Okay, we would say, oh, this patient doesn't feel anything. I will go to another area. We would miss part of the case. But even when the patient thought no sense, for us in homeopathy, all these nonsenses, which doesn't make sense in other alternative methods, for homeopathy, they make sense. because individuality here is on the, I would say, 100 degree, not individuality on the 10 degree, for example. This is another kind of very, very, very defined individuality, very exact, a really fingerprint. So tell me more about this not feeling anything. And he said, at work everyone panics, but I'm calm. How do you feel at work? Very calm. And maybe somehow makes me fly. Can you see how interesting? In the main complaint, he felt in a frame and opposite fly. Here in the hobby, again, we see made me fly. And then that's why I asked him, describe the feeling of flying. And he said, it's like being on a delta glider, like a bird you fly. What does this bird feel? She's like invisible bunny. Where she flies, you just follow her. Interesting. Could he be bird? Let us see. The birds also fly. Let's see. Interesting. Then I went to another area, dreams. He said me, I very often have prophetic dreams. I was in Siberia in my life with wolves, and for that, as a child, I dreamed of a pack of wolves and holes. I asked him another dream, tell me another dream. He said, dream with a woman. What was the sensation in this dream? Love. That's very interesting when we practice. I've seen in my cases that each person experience love in different ways. So this love that we are talking about, for me, for example, is not this love for someone else. For me, for example, I don't know, love is romantic, devotion, faithful, something like this. For someone else, on a deeper level, would be something different. I usually fly also. On a deeper level when I feel good feelings, but someone else would feel something else. To be up, to have your spirit up, to be well, to bring you adrenaline. Again, you see, to be up, to be to the sky, to lifting, again something like flying, and again adrenaline. You see how interesting? The third area where he repeats the same sensation. Very interesting. And then another area of his life, childhood. I asked him, tell me about your nature as a child. And he said, I was very curious, free as a bird, spontaneously. I helped a lot. I grew up without my parents till I was 14 years old. I've never been forbidden to do what I want. I've always helped them. They have always tried to show me that the family is the most important unit. Doesn't expect from people, they was talking to me, don't expect from the people. You depend on yourself. I liked going to the library also, and etc. etc. And he has been betrayed from his sister often. And from here already I understood that this is the hotspot in the case, this feeling of freedom and flying. So I asked him, what is the sensation in the freedom? He couldn't reply in the beginning, but I continued. So he said finally, he even asked me, what do you feel in the freedom? What is this? Many times patients can say that they have never thought about this. This kind of questions they have never been asked such kind of questions, because our aim is to disconnect them from their personality and put them in their subconscious, but not only in the subconscious, but in the basal self, which is the deeper than what we have in psychology. The basal self we have only in homeopathy. Can you understand? Can you realize what kind of depth is this? If you see more cases, you will feel and you will see this beauty and deep, deep individualization. So he said, finally, hyperactivity and mental ecstasy. There was an article in which he explained what happened at the death of some journalist. These people are looking for emotions, loose meaning, all boundaries are lost, no furniture, and everything is empty. So for these people, all boundaries are lost, but he said the similar in the beginning for himself. Are you with me? Do you remember this? In the main complaint, he said, get into a frame. So sorry, when I asked him about the injustice, sorry. The cessation into the injustice was get into a frame. And now, again, the other people, their boundaries are lost. The opposite sensation we see. Frame, caged, or no boundaries. So there are boundaries in a frame, and there are no boundaries. So he gives us spontaneously the opposite sensation. And it makes great sense for us as homeopaths. It makes great sense. Which is also unique. For other therapists, it would make no sense. No furniture, so everything is empty. What did they feel in ecstasy? Like taking dopamine, they felt strong, unpunished after every act, no conscious, no conscious, no morals, no boundaries there. A rush of meaningless energy, like a Superman. What the Superman feels, see how beautifully it makes a great sense about us also. This rush of meaningless energy, like Superman, like something huge, you see. No boundaries, huge. So for him, freedom is no boundary and huge, like Superman. For me, it's not like this, for example. For me, freedom is just flying, gliding, seeing from above. I don't feel the freedom like this, and this is very interesting. And everyone is different, explaining just one word, freedom, for example. And this the other song I see every day in my practice. Everyone has different other song. Everyone. We have many tools to reach to this other song. Homeopathy is very, very rich of tools and very flexible, reaching to this other song, which is in the center and which is the main reason for our diseases. So I asked him what the Superman feels. One of the biggest killers asked him why you were killing. And he said, because it gives me pleasure. See how interesting? Pleasure. That's what the addict does. People are very afraid of reality. After some time, this is shortened. If I show you the rough case, it's even more exciting and interesting. But so then I often ask myself, you know what is the nation? Is the Europeans is the you know that European is the nation with the most suicide? Strange. I asked him about Superman. He's talking about this. Strange. But when the people talk strange words, we are in the center. We know that we are in the center because our aim is to disconnect the person from the conscious and to put him in the subconscious. What do you feel when you don't feel freedom? Claustrophobia. How it feels in the body? You are used to a huge space again. You are used spontaneously, beautiful, huge space. And when you are close, you are like a closed animal in a cage. But closed animal in a cage, this is again delusion. We will see why. What does this animal feel in a cage? Panic. Okay, describe the panic a little bit more. And can you see what he describes then? To see only beauty, green, relaxation, nothing else interests you. So if it was animal, he would continue to explain some kind of aggression or feeling anger or competition or process of or superior and inferior or something from animal kingdom. He would explain if it was a bird or animal. But he says beauty, green, relaxation. Is this animal language or mineral language? Even if you don't know anything about homeopathy, can you see how the people talk? Why? Because they, through the deep case taking, they connect with this energy in the cosmos, which resonates with their basal self or with the other song. This song creates this harmony with the human song. There are two songs inside of us, basal and human song is also there is ego, superego. It's also many parts which have to reach to harmony and balance one with another in order to transform people from disease to the health. So, and the rest of the world is indifferent to you. Describe the word relax out of the context, forget about you. Even flower outside can make me feel relaxed, even if you look at the grass or look at the sky. Weightlessness. Very interesting. Describe weightlessness outside of you, out of the context. Everything else around you makes you go down. To return to the reality. So what we understood from this, that he doesn't want to stay into the reality. He wants to stay in the heaven where is light, where the beauty is there, relaxation, vastness, Superman, huge. This is the case, and my observation is that he's theorizing because he's talking a lot. This is extract of the case, but before I reach to this beautiful sensation, I needed a lot of time, pauses, questions, because he didn't believe in homeopathy at all. And the men are less prone to sensation method and deep case taking. But you saw that finally, even spontaneously, he was expressing his sensitivity. So I observed that he's theorizing, he was laughing all the time, and he was very sensitive, which is water element. And according to 4 elements theory, philosophy, actually this is philosophy because this is deep also. As we have 4 doshas in Ayurveda, we have 4 elements in homeopathy, and these 4 elements we have in astrology, We have it in Kabbalah. These four elements are also the basis, the basic universal law that we also use in homeopathy. And this is amazing. So the remedy is cannabis indica 30C twice for 2 days. And he stopped coughing after the second dose. And then he was very industrious. He was working all the time, couldn't relax, laughing, anxious. He didn't tell me this. I reached to all these things from his subconscious. He didn't tell me directly. It was closed, you know. Cannabis indica is psychotic remedy. He's hidden. But through his interests, hobbies, etc., talking like this, just through his behavior, gestures, body language, we can understand our patients, even if they don't want to share so much. So that's why this kind of flexibility is unique. Then he became more relaxed. He started to sleep. He slept for a few days, were more drowsy. This happens after homeopathy remedy. This is a good sign. And now he is calmer. I gave him, I gave him cannabis indica after that LM4 potency every day for 20 days. So he felt very good so far. No cough. He gets mucus here. He couldn't get it out. And it was very suffocating and he couldn't sleep at all. And this sleeplessness, anxiousness, all these things subsided almost completely. And he's calmer now, he's working normally, no industrials. And this is for less than 1 month, and this is miracle, actually. So the rubrics I took was dryness, external dryness nose, then dreams clairvoyant, delusions betrayed his, delusion floating, laughing, and theorizing. And you saw cannabis indica first remedy in the repertorization, because I restricted the program to search only for plant kingdom, because I knew for sure that this is a plant. We have many options also in our softwares. This is another flexible and very powerful tool we have in homeopathy, as I said. And what is the genius of the remedy? Every remedy has his core pattern. Extreme physic mobility. This is from Fatak, Materia Medica. Mind and emotions, which are exalted intensely, and in which conceptions and perceptions are exaggerated. Everything is big. The colors are more are brighter. The grass is more is greener. Everything is exaggerated. Colors, sensations. As he said, Superman. Patients expresses the most wonderful hallucinations, and imagination feels very happy and contented, or sometimes the hallucinations may be agonizing terror and pain. Sense of proportion or sense of time and space is lost. No time, no space, no proportion, no sense of proportion. Mania of grandeur, exact what he says in the case. Levitation, flying. Gaiety, uncontrollable laughter. This is the exact what he had in the case. So this is from classic homeopathy. Then sensation method of Dr. Shankaran. The sensation of homoeopathy family, which cannabis indica belongs to, is closed, shut in, confined, pressed, compressed, dragged down, heavy. And the opposite, open, expanding, enlarged, flying, floating, light, and free. What he said. I'm framed means closed, and the opposite, flying and floating. Active reaction is desire to move. He was in active reaction. Motion ameliorates, fantasizing, imagination. Passive reaction is dullness of senses, motion aversion to. He was not at this, he was at active phase. Then let's see what Dr. Shankaran says about cannabis indica in soul of remedies. It's a psychotic remedy. It's remedy of plant kingdom and belongs to the addictive group of drug remedies, which is very important. This feeling of inadequacy I observed also in the case, like, and also this oversensitivity, which we have in all plant remedies. It also has a sense of isolation and other symptoms common to the group of drug remedies. The perceived weakness is the situation, according to Dr. Shakaran, of cannabis indica is of a person who is afraid of outside world because it's dangerous. So he prefers to stay at home. It's luxury. It's like a very luxury inside of what's the word? Като дворец, like the king. And he stays inside of this world, and he is boring because he doesn't have this kind of, he needs stimulation, he needs pleasure, but because he cannot have it inside of this world, he started fantasizing. And these fantasies are very vivid, very colorful. Then let us see what Mikhail Yakir says about Hamomelide and Cannabis indica. So let us look to the case from evolutionary philosophy point of view. So he says about subclass Hamomelidae, excessive overgrowth, growing in an uninhibited manner without limits. These plants are growing without limits. You see the nature, the source itself, the plants in Hamomelidae, they also grow limitless, the same as the human sensation. Can you see how beautifully, how naturally, how universe-based and exact is homeopathy? So column second, which Hamomelidae subclass belongs to, represent a resolve to attain manifestation in this world. The vital force compels the ego to exist, to act independently, but it is weak. Sorry, I will switch off the phone sound because it's ringing. So we have in first column, the people in first column feels unity with the superconscious, with the God. In the second column, they already have first impulse to separate from the divine, like we have in Bible, in human evolutionary history in general. But they feel that they're not here, not there. They're spaced out like this. They're not evolved enough. And this first impulse, which they accept, to act in the reality made them to be very forceful, to be very industrious, but because the ego is still weak, like a baby, this is a lot of pressure for them, and they feel dragged down, heavy. So, and I've talked about the second column. Actually, this is the moment of history when this is the beginning, the period of the Stone Age, when the people start planting with stone tools, and this is very heavy, like Sisyphean efforts, and this is from the human history actually. And the same way people in the second column of plant family, they feel the same. They have to put a lot of efforts in order to reach comfort, which is very exhausting. So Cannabis indica belongs to subclass Hamamelidae, order Urticalis, in which we have mainly three families: Cannabiacea, Moracea, and Ulmacea. So what are the themes of Urticalis? Lack of power, weakness, unready to manifest. I have to manifest, but I cannot. Smallness, unpreparedness to be born and part from the mother. Connection, disconnection, lack of boundaries. The exact what he says. I will back the case. Sorry. What he says here. All boundaries are lost. Can you see how exact the patient talk with the language of the source? We cannot see this anywhere in any other divine or whatever medicine or science. So this is the beauty, and this makes homeopathy special, specific. This is one simple example. There are thousands of examples. If you have seen the program so far, or if you have read homeopathy cases, you would get impression about this. Then primal urge for gratification of instincts, lack of control over sexuality and basic impulses. What he says, these people, they'll kill. They don't have a moral. We know that whatever the patient talks, he speaks about himself, because he is mirroring our reality, is what we have inside of us. Then separation, boundaries, formication, skin, and blood vessels are affected. So we saw in this case how we combined classic homeopathy with sensation method, with evolution of the ego, and with four elements philosophy. His watery element, because there are a lot of emotions. You know, the water elements, one of the main characteristics is feminine aspect, or a lot of emotions, and this kind of неяснота, no boundaries, obscureness. He's not aware about the exact purpose in his life. This kind of obscureness and cloudiness is also feminine or water quality. So the key of cannabis indica is in the light of heavy and light sensation, and here or there theme from the evolutionary theory. The key of the extract of this remedy is this unrealistic feeling, inadequate, exaggerated senses, and pleasure desire. because cannabis, the Urticales family belongs to the first and second row. First row represents the stage before birth. The second row represents the infant stage, when you are a baby and you need instant gratification of your urges. And he's like this. He wants do something, he's doing this. He wants pleasure, he gets pleasure. For cannabis indica, in the light of second row of and second column, this is the junction. He's on the junction of second row and second column, first and second column of the Michael Yakir's table. And he needs immediate gratification of pleasure. This is the one of the main points, main features of this remedy. And now I will show you a few patients who share their experience with homeopathy in short, because it was actually one of the other topics of this 12 days marathon on homeopathy, which I'm very glad and happy that we did this with the help of Kartik and Uta. I missed for 2 days. I'm so sorry. I couldn't manage with everything. But thank you that you helped me a lot. So, Kartik, how to show this?
Which one? The YouTube?
Shall I send you the link?
Yes, just send me the link.
Okay. I did it.
Yeah.
So sometimes till we wait for, sometimes we can use, for example, as I said, psychology with sensation method and classic homeopathy. Sometimes we may use energetic homeopathy with sensation method, depending on the person. Oh, sorry, I will continue after.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
No.
No, I can pause this
Hello.
later.
My name is Dilyana.
The sound is slow.
And I learning homeopathy in homeopathy.
Shall I?
Yeah, 1 minute, 1 minute. I think this, I'm just going to close this.
Okay.
Do you need these slides, Genoveva?
No.
Okay.
In homeopathy school by Genoveva Georgieva. I like and love homeopathy very much. I ask, hello, my name is Dilyana, and I Georgieva.
Oh, there's something, it's going on replaying.
I like and love homeopathy very much. I ask for help Genoveva when I felt
I didn't want my
despair.
name, but
And by Genoveva Georgieva. I like and love homeopathy very much.
This is just replaying.
I ask for help Genoveva when I felt despair. And I had lost faith myself. The homeopathy remedy helped me to be calm and confident. I'm now happy and walking the way of love again. Thank you very much, Genoveva. People, Give love and take care of bodies. Hello.
So there are two more links.
Links, okay. Yeah, just send them over.
The bot.
Yeah, both.
Okay. I don't see. Oh, this is a patient, another one. I treated her last year.
Здравей, благодаря, добре.
What happened with you? What is the difference between your condition before and after the therapy? Каква е разликата с преди и след терапията?
Преди терапията се чувствах много опаднала, много зле, със сърцебиене, почти едва се справя с ежедневните си задължения и лекарството, което моята лекуваща лекарка ми беше преписала, не ми понасяше, не можех да го взема.
I had heart palpitation. I was very weak. I had no able to do my daily tasks, and the remedy that my doctors prescribed me didn't work.
И на практика състоянието ми се влошаваше и не бях с никакво лечение, нямах никакво лечение.
Aggravated, and I had no any treatments.
И изведнъж се сетих, че преди много години бях посещавала един курс на Геновева по хомеопатия и там имах някаква представа за хомеопатията и това ме наведе на мисълта да се свържа с нея и да потърся помощ.
I remember that I attended a course with Genoveva, and I decided to connect with you and to do a session.
И след като направихме няколко сеанса, на мен състоянието ми значително се подобри.
After sessions, my condition improved considerably.
Бяха ми изписани едни гранулки, които трябваше да вземам, но аз, понеже не разбирах точно какво представляват, имах резерв и я попитах може ли да не ги взема. И тогава тя ми разреши да медитирам вместо да вземам тези гранулки и аз бях много доволна.
I didn't take any remedy. I meditated. I was very content.
И благодарение на сеансите, благодарение на медитациите, които правихме успоредно с въпросите, които тя ми задаваше, картинките, които ми показваше,
And the pictures you showed me.
Малко след като завърши последния сеанс, аз разбрах много неща, които са ме измъчвали, причината за нещата, които са ме измъчвали и си ги обясних. И след като обясних защо съм се чувствала по този начин, благодарение на въпросите, на които трябваше да отговоря, моето състояние значително се подобри и аз повече не вземам лекарства, нямам нужда.
The last session, thanks to the questions I was asked, I realized the reason for my worse health, and it helped me to improve much. And I didn't need to take any remedies.
И още едно нещо искам да споделя, че освен сеансите с Геновева, успоредно с това промених коренно начина си на хранене, като изключих индустриалната захар и глутеновите продукти.
I actually changed my diet also, and I switched off the industrial sugar and gluten products.
И всяка сутрин правя един комплекс от гимнастика, която е за хормонална гимнастика, която е за подпомагане на щитовидната железа.
And every morning I'm doing gymnastics, which is helpful for my thyroid gland, because her main pathology is diminished function of the thyroid gland.
Поддадна съм и
How is actually your thyroid gland? Can you provide investigations after some time? Може ли да покажеш изследвания, след време все пак да видим на практика?
понеже в момента се чувствам добре, не съм правила скоро изследвания, но когато правих последния път изследвания, непосредствено след сеансите, резултатите ми бяха значително по-добри.
I have no investigations now because I feel better, but immediately after the homeopathy treatment, I did investigation and my results with the thyroid gland were much better. Добре, благодаря ти много, Людмила, беше много изчерпателна. Бъди се така добре и се пети нагоре. Чао от мен.
И аз много ти благодаря. Чао, чао.
So we have one more patient and we'll finish with this. So the first case was just psychological problem, the second problem with the thyroid gland, and the third one is broken legs after crash and 20 years after 20 years of treatment and staying with many hospitals, a lot of medications, homeopathy remedies also.
Здравей, разбрахме с тебе да се видим. Да кажеш много накратко просто за разликата преди и след лечението с хомеопатия.
So tell me in short the difference between and after the treatment with homeopathy. 6 months after the last remedy.
Значи, разликата в лечението. Ще говоря за емоционалното състояние. Бях много потисната, отчаяна.
I was more suppressed.
Сега смея да твърдя, че съм чувствам се прекрасно.
Now I'm there to affirm that I feel wonderful.
Пълна с енергия и живот. И желание за живот.
And desire for life.
За физическото състояние,
regarding the physical condition,
пак ще кажа, че наистина съм пълна с енергия. Точно. Да. Болките шумяха, появяват се време.
The pains almost subsided. They appear time to time.
Което смятам, че е напълно нормално при моето състояние.
That I feel this normal for my condition. What was the diagnosis? Каква беше диагнозата?
Чакай сега как пише.
Обясни какво чувстваше. What did you fail? What was the diagnosis? I asked him. She forgot.
Тя диагнозата е смисъл как да обсъжда.
Това беше физическия проблем. Arthrosis. We both forgot the diagnosis.
Болка в дясното коляно, болка в левия крак, лявата бедрица. Сега болката е... Не мога да кажа, че напълно изчезнала, появява се смяна на времето, което е ненормално за подобни травми.
But what was... какъв беше проблема, за да се появи болката? But what was the problem?
Значи, като обясня, че съм пусната от кола,
Ами, да. You want to explain?
Значи, не те чу.
Да, да обясниш какво се случи въобще преди да се стигне до болката.
Значи, през 3 години и половина търпях инцидент.
I had an accident.
Бях блъсната от кола.
Car accident.
И имах щупвания на двата крака и крака.
And my both legs and my buttocks were broken.
И самото възстановяване беше много тежко.
And recovering was very heavy.
Имах в двата крака, имам ставени метални стени.
I have metal nails in both legs.
И това е множество щупания назад.
And multiple breaking on both legs.
Това ми беше състояние.
Ти ходиш с какво?
Ходих с помощни средства, патерици.
I was walking with crutches. И сега ходиш ли с патерици?
Сега не. Смятам, че движението ми са
подобрени след лекарството хвърли патериците след последното лекарство. How long after the last remedy you drew the crutches?
Да, 6 месеца.
It's not like this, she forgot. След Кастанея веска.
Аз тогава не бях с патерица.
It was not...
Мисля. Последната операция, която направих се поставянето на перона, аз след 6 месеца вървих патерицата.
Окей.
Да.
А каква беше разликата след последното лекарство Куриус? Кастанея веска. Ти ходиш ли с патерица преди Кастанея веска всъщност? Did you use the crutches before the last remedy?
Мисля, че да.
I think yes. Не.
Ходих, да.
Сериозно?
Да, сериозно.
Какво се случи след Кастанея веска? Ти ми каза там, ако се спомняш. Окей, ще оставя да се спомняш пак.
Че ти мисля.
Ти ми каза, че след 15 дни там нещо се е случило след Кастанея веска. LM5.
Определено ми се подобриха движенията. Станах по-подвижна. Пак казвам по-енергична. Дори започнах да танцувам. Ако се спомняш.
I became more agile. I even began dancing after the remedy. Okay. Но със сигурност не разбрах била ли си с патерици преди последното лекарство.
Не мога да си спомня, че... Какво си спомня? Аз не помня кога.
What I remember very clear that 15 days, I will never forget this because it was very difficult case. I have shown this case in another platform with Goran Geikut. 15 days after the remedy, she told me something happened, something like magic. I don't need crutches and I can walk. This is what I will never forget. And I've never prescribed Castanea vesca for trauma, where we usually in classic homeopathy prescribe arnica. She has been taken arnica, calcarea phosphorica, symphituum, but they didn't help because the center, the other stonk is not touched. Колко процента беше подобрението след последното лекарство? Горе-долу. Физически. How much percentage was improvement after the last remedy? Approximately.
90% ще кажа.
90.
Да, 90. Има още какво се желае.
What does it mean? 90% improvement.
Да опиша точно.
Дали си изморявала докато ходиш?
Да. Значи, в началото вървях много бавно. На много къси разстояния, като вървя, трябва да седна да почина. А сега смея да твърдя, че определено движението ми са много подобрени. Ходя доста бързо. И сега работя, започнах работа и работата ми не е много физически натоварена, но състоянието, в което бях преди, аз мислех, че няма да мога да се справя да работя 8 часа, но определено се справя. И си изкарам работния ден.
8 hours a day. I was thinking before that I wouldn't be able to do this, but I'm surprised to realize that I can endure 8 hours. Not very physical work, but in any degree, it is like physical.
И си изкарам работния ден без да имам някакъв проблем, да, уморявам се, нормално всеки човек. Но разликата няма разлика от преди самата катастрофа и сега. Това искам да кажа.
There is no difference before the accident and brokening the joints, the bones, and now. Благодаря ти много.
Thank you very much. Благодаря. Целувки. Ciao.
So these are some cases. She's still on treatment. The last quotation of the same remedy, she has not taken any other remedies instead of constitutional. Castanea vesca 200C twice for 2 days, 7 months before, and LM5 for 15 days. And 6 months she felt good. And after that she told me I feel some pain, and I repeated for 15 days LM5 and the pain again subsided. And I still observe her, the case still continues, but she's much better. So this is homeopathy, and I would say I would like to finish with. Can I show the presentation?
Yes, 1 minute.
That what makes homeopathy special and different. I would say the degree of individualization and a richness of many tools and philosophies, not just theories, but deep, grounded on the universe laws philosophies, as well as from science like psychology, as I said, like chemistry, quantum physics, quantum chemistry, botanic, biology, anatomy, physiology, a lot, as well as combined with the last insights of modern psychology, energetic psychology, spiritual treatment. Also, art therapy can be combined. Regression can be in her case, I combined regression with sensation method and Michal Yakir's method. And what I observed that in the regression, she was talking more about trees than about herself. And this for traditional regression therapists, it would be meaningless. But for us as homeopaths, it make a lot of sense. So depending on the patient, we can combine each of these non-traditional methods with a few philosophic systems here in homeopathy, as is classic homeopathy sensation method, Michal Yakir's method, Scholten's method, Gandhi's method. And there are many others, but these are main that I use. And in this way, homeopathy became very, very unique science, and nowhere in the world there is no such kind of rich of tools and flexible science. So thank you very much to all speakers for their amazing work, really amazing cases they showed, for their devotion. Thank you very much again to Kartik, to Uta, to this passion that all of us have narrating their cases. I firmly believe that in Europe, homeopathy will, like in India, this is the second largest system of treatment, that we will reach this level in Europe also. And well done to all Indians who don't give up in this difficult way, but I'm happy for you that you reached this level, and you are our passion and our inspiration. And I feel it's time for homeopathy to reach the level it exists all over the world. Thank you very much. And that's all.
Uta, would you like to say something, Uta?
Yes, thank you, Genoveva. This was a great presentation. I loved watching it. I couldn't manage watching all the presentations by the wonderful speakers that we had on this event, but I will watch them. Thankfully, they are recorded. Thank you so much for all the input of all the speakers that we've had, for sharing your wisdom, for making yourself available at these times that globally we have so many different time zones. So, of course, thank you very much for being available for this event. Genoveva, thank you very much for doing this with me. We had a couple of intense moments and making all the time schedules fit the speakers' times, but we managed eventually. So thank you very much. Kathy, thank you very much for allowing this platform, for making this possible for us. Right there, and for all the input and the extra time that you made available to host these things for us. Thank you so much. It was a great event. A lot of information shared, a lot of wisdom shared. Thank you so much. We will do it again, but we need a break.
So
So
it will
thank
be
you so
already
much.
in another dimension, not here. I hope. I need more emails, please. All emails which fell into gateway. I need more connection with the patients because I feel we have to establish this connection with our patients because they are the face of homeopathy. We can talk a lot, but the patients are the face of homeopathy. Their true devotion to share their results.
Right.
Thank you very
much.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. So, good night. Good night, everybody. Bye bye.
Good night.
See you all.
Bye-bye.
Bye bye,
Bye.
Genoveva.
Lots of love.